So today we're going to do the Elbows Up maple leaf block, which ends up looking like this. And it's actually pages 16 through 21 on your pattern. And it's the most difficult block, but it's not really hard. So we're going to go through a video. I've got several tools here I'm going to be using. I've got my 60-degree triangle. I have a 4.5-inch square triangle. And I also have my handy dandy rotating cutting mat, and I'm telling you, you really need to have one of these. So we're gonna start by making this section. This is what we're gonna make right here. And we'll start by following the pattern, and the pattern tells me to cut a 4.5-inch 60-degree triangle. And you can see there's measurements on this ruler. So I'm gonna set that at 4.5 inches, and I'm going to cut it and make my 60-inch triangle. Now this will actually make 2 triangles, and this is why this lovely little cutting mat is nice, because I don't have to get in the way of the camera and I can just rotate it. There we go. So now we have our 60-degree triangle, and I have to cut the pieces that go beside it, and that's where our 3-inch strip comes in. And I'm going to use that 60-degree triangle again. And this time there's a center marking on that 60-degree triangle. And I'm going to mark that center marking at 4 inches and the center line. And I'm going to trim that off. Now the interesting part about this is the piece that you cut to use is not going to be the piece under the ruler. It's going to be this piece right here. So I'll cut that off at the top. And that would have been my 4.5-inch square. Now these are the squares that we are going to, the pieces we're going to sew to this. And we're going to start, and if you look at the picture on the video, it shows you very clearly how to lay it out. So we're going to lay this background piece like this, and we're going to lay one of the long sides of the triangle to the background piece, and it's going to overlap almost a 1/4 inch here. And we're going to walk over to the sewing machine. We're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam here. And that will get us the first side of this completed. And once this is done, we're going to finger press it open. So I've got this done here. I'm going to finger press it to the red side. So there we go. Nice finger press. And then if you look, this is the long side of the piece that we're going to attach. So we're going to take that long side again, and we're going to put it at the top. And that's how you remember where it goes. The long sides are at the top. We'll put it on the second side, and we're going to come across right here at about a 1/4 inch. So you know that you're going to have a little bit left at the bottom, and we're going to stitch that at a 1/4 inch as well. And we're going to finger press that open. There's your first part of this square. So we'll finger press that very quickly, and we'll go back over to the table. We're going to add our last little pieces onto here, and that will be a 2.5-inch square. So there's the 2.5-inch square right here. Now for some people it's a lot easier if they draw a line across here to get a perfect marking. I'm just going to kind of fudge it. So I'm going to lay this in the bottom corner of this, okay? And once I lay that in the bottom corner, I'm going to take this over and I'm going to stitch along the line I would have drawn. So from corner to corner. And you know, after you've done a few of these, you'll kind of get good at seeing where that corner is, corner to corner, and getting a fairly straight line. But that's what we're going to end up with. So we'll trim that side, and we'll put another one on it. And then you'll have your full piece that looks like this. So I'm going to do a quick trim. I'll go over and put the other one on so you can see it fully how you get it done. Again, we're going to finger press that over. So I've got it finger pressed. It's out of the way. I'm going to put the other one on the other side, and we'll do corner to corner again. Okay. And once that's done, we'll have this block finished, and then we're gonna square it up so that it's the right size. There you go. And again, here we are, we fold that over. We'll trim that off. Got a little extra trimming to do on these ones, but. So now we have this block almost complete. I want to square it up now to 4.5 inches. Here's the chance for you to press it, if you're going to press it. And I'm going to use my 4.5 inch ruler. And I am going to be sure that the 1/4 inch mark meets that point. So that's where I want it to meet, right there. And the 1/4 inch mark on the 4.5 meets that center point. So once I trim this, I will have my 4.5 inch square block, which is what this one actually is 4.5 inches. So this is the first start of your maple leaf.